Hey there, Aquarius. Welcome to your reading for today. We are going to jump right in here. You have this wild card. I'm using the Gilded Lenormand, and it has some wild cards in it, so I'm going to pull some extra. You have the Six of Spades, and you have the Seven of Pentacles, or Seven of Diamonds, I should say. The Seven of Diamonds is a card called the BS, and it represents communication, or can represent communication. And so, again, there could be important communication that's coming in for you at this time. If you are waiting for communication, the 7, when I first started this channel, I used to read only playing cards, and I was not using the Lenormand card reading system. I was using a playing card reading system. And, it's the reason I'm saying this is because what's popping into my head with that 7 of Diamonds there is that the 7 of Diamonds in the playing card reading system can represent fears about money, but it can also say that those fears are not true. And it kind of popped into my head when I pulled that card for you, Aquarius, that some of you, it's like you might be worrying a little bit too much about your finances or like the direction of your finances. I also feel something here about lacking excitement, is really what I want to say. The reason I'm saying I want to say this is because I don't really see it in the reading, right? It's like there's nothing here just looking at all the cards that really say that you're lacking excitement. But, it's like that's a feeling I'm getting from the reading, so I have to say what I feel. And, it's like some of you, it's like sometimes I think we just aren't inspired, or we feel a lack of inspiration and we're not sure what to do. And so, again, I always say I just say what I feel, and that's really what I'm feeling off of this reading. I do feel like this is connected to your finances, just based off of everything that's coming in here. It's like you could be lacking inspiration in work, or in your career, or in your business. Even if you're retired, you could still be, working around the house or, doing things that you want, working on personal projects. And there's something about this lack of inspiration that's popping into my head. I feel like you are going to correct this, by the way. It's a very good reading. I mean, there's very good cards here. But, this might be like a passing feeling. And I feel the Five of Swords is, here's the thing about the Five of Swords, let me back up, is that the Five of Swords can represent taking a risk or needing to take some sort of risk. I actually feel this is saying don't take a risk, as in sometimes I think when we feel lack of inspiration, or we're not sure what to do next in life, that we start just kind of being a little bit too chaotic. It's almost like we'll just do anything to get rid of the feeling of not knowing what to do. And I feel like this is encouraging you to slow it down. I almost feel Four of Swords energy here, where it's like saying it would almost be better for you to do nothing, even if you feel like you absolutely have to do something. Very strange reading, but, again, we'll see where it goes. You show up here, which is great. You have the Star card. The Star puts you in a position of power and strength. The Star is also a card of inspiration. But, funny enough, she is about to step into this pool here. And, the Star can represent resting, relaxing, recovering. So, it's a card of hope, faith, and renewal being the key word, as in maybe you need to take a little bit of time for yourself to just renew your energy. I also think I said this to you in your last reading. I'm pretty sure it was the reading before. The Star is about having a North Star. It is about having that big picture idea for your life. So sometimes I think we need to just stop, right? And we need to put things into perspective. The Star is a card of perspective as well. We have this bird here. And the bird represents getting a bird's eye view on your situation. So maybe it would be better for you to really figure out what your dream life would look like. I always say one of my favorite exercises is to just write your life as if everything went perfectly according to plan always. And what would that life look like? And I think it's better to just say a day, pick a day and say, if I could live a perfect day every single day, what would that look like? And that way you can kind of work backwards and you can go to the start, right? You can say okay, to reach all these goals and to live the perfect day, I'm going to need to do these things. But, sometimes I feel putting things into perspective is what allows us to get started in the first place. It feels like to me this reading is saying you need inspiration. And again, maybe that's what you need to do. You have the Hierophant, could be a little bit of a problem, right? The Hierophant is society's expectations. So, if you're thinking about what will my mom think, what will my grandma think, what will, this person think or that person think, then you're living inside the box. And the Hierophant encourages outside the box thinking. The good news is that we have the Judgment card here. These people are standing in the box. They are standing inside of their coffins. Inside the coffin is their old life, outside the coffin is their new life, so it's like literally saying get out of the box, right? And think outside the box. So let's see. And you don't really have a problem with this either, Aquarius. With the Five of Swords, you have the world. We go from the world down to the world. The world can represent a big accomplishment or a big achievement coming in for you. So some of you could be working towards goals, or, maybe you're looking for goals to achieve, and I do feel that there could be some achievements. It's another one of your cards. You show up in the top left corner here on this card, and you're showing up again twice with the world. So good. With the Star, what do you know? We have the Hermit. The Hermit makes sense here because the Hermit has been through something difficult. He's been through a dark night of the soul, and he has the Star in his lantern right here. I always say his next step is to come down from the mountain and to be an inspiration. I also think it's no mistake that you have the world in this reading because the world says you have to step out into the world. You have to, kind of put yourself out there. And the Hermit kind of says you have to come down to the world. This isn't necessarily accurate tarot, but I feel with the Hermit it's very, very tempting to climb to the top of the mountain and stay there in isolation. It's if you've been through a lot of difficulties and challenges, it's very tempting to kind of isolate yourself because then you're protecting yourself from ever having to experience those challenges again. So I do feel the Hermit is encouraging challenging yourself. Yep, with the Hierophant you have the Three of Wands. Three of Wands, expansion. But Three of Wands says, what are you waiting for? It's there are all these opportunities in front of him, or these three boats. The boats are pointing out of the harbor. So yeah, the Three of Wands can represent your ships coming in, but really those boats are pointing out. They represent an opportunity for him to go on an adventure, to expand, to do something different, but he has to leave the place where he is and where he has always been. So, definitely a good time for outside-the-box thinking, outside-the-box ideas. You're an Aquarius, you're an innovator, this should be easy for you. Next, in the area of what's coming in for you, you have this Lighthouse card. That makes sense too. It says you're a light that can't be hidden. So don't try to dim it for anyone. The Hermit has his light inside that lantern, and he could easily open the lantern and shine his light. You have this Temptation card. It says what is tempting you at this moment may not be a wise choice. Five of Swords. Remember I said don't just do anything. If we're in an uncomfortable position where we're lacking inspiration, and I've done this a million times in business and everything where it's I don't know what to do, or I'm confused, or, I'm rushing something and then I make a bad decision, right? So bad decisions always come from that restless place. And I feel this is saying it would actually be better for you to do nothing. And that's kind of what I'm getting here. It's don't just do anything. Make sure that you're kind of taking the right steps. You have the Ace of Pentacles, the Strength card, and the Judgment card. The Ace of Pentacles could be the opportunity you're waiting for that kind of sets you free here. So if you have been waiting or not sure what your next step should be, then the Ace of Pentacles could be a really good opportunity. Again, I feel part of the problem is the Hermit in this reading and the Hierophant. It's I feel the Hierophant is society's expectations in your reading. I feel the Hermit is you trying to protect yourself, which makes sense. Ace of Pentacles could be a very similar opportunity to what you've experienced in the past, but the Ace of Pentacles basically says that you need to take the risk on this new opportunity and invest in it. So, it's hard to do something again. If something didn't work in your life, it's kind of hard to get motivated to try again. And I feel the first two rows here are kind of saying that. I feel the Strength card here is saying that you need to realize all the strength that you have gathered. She is taming this lion. The lion represents her inner voice, her inner beast, her inner critic, all those things, and it is submitting to her. It has its tail between its legs. And so it's sometimes we fail, maybe you have in the past, and we don't realize what we have learned has given us strength to try again. And so I feel the Strength card is definitely encouraging you to try again. I feel the Judgment card is encouraging you to try again. The Judgment card definitely can represent a second chance coming in for you. These people are rising up out of these coffins. Inside the coffin is inside the box, the old way of doing things, the old way of thinking. Outside the coffin is their new life. So, you are definitely being called to something new. That could be, again, this could be something that's similar from your past. So if this is a business or a job, which it does look financial to me, again, it's maybe you've tried to do this before, whatever you're about to do, but it's you're doing it again and, it looks good different this time. With the Ace of Pentacles, you have the Knight of Pentacles. Yeah, slow progress, but progress. I feel pretty good about the Knight of Pentacles here because we have the Nine of Pentacles right next to it. The Nine of Pentacles is, gratitude, luxuries, it's creating heaven on earth as well. So a lot of you seem to be very focused on the right things here, which is good. With the Strength card, you have the Six of Swords. Yeah, moving on to calmer shores. So definitely improvements. We see a lot of movement in the reading here just in general. I mean, Three of Wands, World twice, Six of Swords, Chariot, even the Eight of Cups. So, it's clear to me that you're going to be moving in new directions, probably plural in your life, or walking away from things. The Eight of Cups is showing up in the good stuff though, so this would be a good thing. With the Judgment card, you have the Ten of Cups. Yeah, fortune after difficulty, basically. The Ten of Cups can represent fortune after difficulty or good things happening after a difficult period of time. So there could be a lot of improvements, more success coming in for you with the Ten of Cups. So that looks good. I also feel that you should be focusing on your own happiness here. Here's my problem with the Hierophant. It's like the Hierophant is the way things should be according to society, or, how you were raised, and the Ten of Cups is what actually makes you happy. So I feel that you need to focus on your own happiness here. Next, in the area of messages from your future self, you have this Fork in the Road card and this By the Book card. I feel you have a choice to make. The By the Book card, funny enough, would be like inside the box thinking, right? Although I do feel like something is going to work out, or something is going to go according to plan. So I would definitely stay focused here. The Fork in the Road card kind of represents, again, having a choice to make, and it does suggest the new path as well. You have the Nine of Pentacles, the Emperor, and the Ten of, the World. The Nine of Pentacles is a card of independence. I believe everyone is working on being independent right now. We have Neptune in Pisces still this year. It is going to go into Aries, but it's going to retrograde back into Pisces. So I personally don't consider a planet having moved into a sign until it's basically there to stay. It's like, yeah, sure, we'll experience some of the energy, but, for the most part, it's really not there until it's actually there, right? So we still have Neptune in Pisces as far as I'm concerned. Neptune in Pisces, I believe part of it is that it wants us to believe in ourselves. Neptune in Pisces is the big and endless dream. Neptune in Pisces is delusional. Neptune in Pisces is your imagination. And, you could be imagining something better for your life, which you clearly are because of the star. But Neptune in Pisces, I believe it's normally without Neptune, if we have Neptune in Pisces, it's almost like we can see when we're getting somewhere. It's like we can start working on a project, and those little milestones that we get that tell us we're going the right direction are very close. But with Neptune in Pisces, they're very far away. I believe where it's kind of like the universe is saying to us, do you need confirmation every freaking step you take towards your goal? Or are you just going to trust yourself that you're moving in the right direction, right? And so we're all being pushed to develop our own independence in that way. You have the Emperor. The Emperor is about taking control. So I feel a lot of you could be just, taking control of opportunity. We have the Ace of Pentacles here. And so the Emperor is waiting for an opportunity. He has his armor on underneath his cloak on this card right here, but he's sitting down. He's not really doing anything. So it kind of says that he is ready to go at a moment's notice. He is not taking action on something until an opportunity presents itself, and then he will take very swift action. So I feel like this is saying there's an opportunity coming that will set you free. You have the World. Again, same thing as the World up here. I feel like you're just having an accomplishment, or you're, creating some sort of accomplishment in your life, which is good. With the Nine of Pentacles, you have the Five of Wands. Too much noise. I feel like you're listening to too much here is what I would say to you. It's I really don't have a good example for you here. Aquarius. It's I'm working on another new business. Of course, what else is new, right? And it's I've been watching a lot of information about it. This is actually a good example. I've been watching a lot of stuff about it, about the type of business I'm starting, another one. And what is really interesting is the other day I was watching a bunch of these videos, and it's I was starting to feel I wouldn't be able to do it, right? I was starting to feel that, what I was watching were all the competitors, and I was man, these people have too much time behind them, and it's going to be hard for me to compete and everything like that. I started doubting myself. It was almost I was taking in too much information instead of just doing the work. right? And so that's kind of like what I get here off of the Five of Wands. I feel like you need to realize that you shouldn't be listening to too much, right? Like, of course we have to learn and all that other stuff, but I feel like if you're paying too much attention to other people, you're just going to talk yourself out of it. With the Emperor, you have the Ace of Swords, 2 aces. So this is a definite yes to any question that I haven't answered. This is a big victory. This is a big victory as well, so there's clearly some sort of victory coming in for you. With the World, you have the Page of Cups. You do have a little bit of love here. So again, if you want love, and I'm pretty sure this keeps coming up for you, Aquarius, that it's like your readings aren't really love readings, but if you want it, it's here. You're almost exactly like Capricorn. It's like you and Capricorn, which you are right next to each other, but, so it makes sense astrologically. But it's like, if you want it, it's here, and so there you go. And it could be like an Emperor. You have all this other good stuff, like someone you form a family with. There could be like travel involved or distance because of the World and the Chariot, although that's not always true. But again, it's here if you want it. Next, in the area of the good stuff, you have this hidden gem card, and you have this playfulness and cooperation card. Yeah, like again, there could be like a hidden gem in the sense that you're getting an opportunity that leads to a lot of success with the Ace of Pentacles. I feel like this is some opportunity you've been waiting for. And again, it's like that inspiration that you've been waiting for. One thing I will say is that I think you're going to have to motivate yourself a little bit here because, I would prefer a reading like this to have like the Ace of Wands or, like the Eight of Wands even, because that would tell me there's a little bit more of a push in the right direction. So, again, if you're getting an opportunity in work or business or anywhere really, then I would take it and I would motivate yourself to get moving. I feel like you'll be a little bit excited about it, like a little bit excited about the opportunity. I feel like excitement, like again, I'm not going to sugarcoat it, I feel like excitement is missing from this reading just in general. So you might just be in a space of feeling just like a tiny bit, a little bit lost. I hope I'm describing this correctly, but this is what I'm feeling. And, but again, I think there's change coming is what I would say. You have the Eight of Cups, the Chariot, and the Eight of Pentacles. The Eight of Cups is about walking away from things that no longer serve you. In the good stuff, this of course would be a good thing. It would say that you're walking towards bigger and better things, so that's amazing. You have the Chariot, which can represent a victory or a big success. He is setting himself apart. He's leaving the city behind, and he's moving in a new direction. So there could be positive new directions coming in for you. With the Chariot, I also feel like there could be a lot more success just in general. You have the Eight of Pentacles. Eight of Pentacles is kind of like your hard work paying off in the good stuff. And so I feel like you are making progress. Like maybe there's just been a little bit of a dip recently, or, I don't know, lacking excitement like I said. But you have been making progress and I feel a lot of you could finally be seeing the progress. One thing I will tell you and one thing I will say is that, that North Node in Pisces for you, if it is occurring in your second house, if you are a first house Aries, you really could be kind of like working on your value and discovering your value, right? The second house is kind of like earned income, the nicer things in life, things like that. But sometimes I feel the second house, because it's right next to the first house, is your value. And so I feel a lot of you, it's like the Eight of Pentacles, and here's where I was going with that as well, is that even though it's not in your first house, I would still say that a lot of you could be getting benefits from things that you've been working on. So sometimes that North Node comes into a house like your second house. If it is your second house, you're going to have to check your own chart. And, especially in the second house, it would represent kind of like receiving value from work you've already done. Eight of Pentacles means the same thing, and so I kind of feel that on the Eight of Pentacles. With the Eight of Cups, you have the Tower. Again, the Tower in the good stuff, number one, could represent a move if you want to move. By the way, this is a very good reading. So if you're thinking about moving, definitely the Tower in the good stuff could also say that you're avoiding a Tower moment, or you're walking away from something that was a Tower moment. And I totally ignored this, is you have the Judgment card to the Tower. Judgment to the Tower is my most powerful combination in the tarot. To me, it represents like having a major revelation or major wake-up call. With the Chariot, you have the King of Wands. I feel good about this. Here's a little bit of that fire that we've been missing in the reading. So the King of Wands is bold, assertive, really goes for what he wants, and you could be embracing that energy and making things happen. With the Eight of Pentacles, you have the Nine of Swords. Again, get out of your head. I literally said at the beginning of the reading that you are worried about money, or I said something like that. And the Nine of Swords with the Eight of Pentacles would represent being worried about money. But, again, it's coming up in the good stuff, so I feel like there is nothing for you to worry about. And again, showing up in the good stuff, this would say that you're seeing in the future that you don't need to be worried about your money. Of course, you have this card, this sun in Aquarius, which is idealism. And so I feel things are kind of like improving. And again, idealism, there is no such thing as idealism in life. Nothing is ever ideal. Nothing works 100% according to plan. But if it did, what would that look like? And I would do the exercise I suggested earlier, plain and simple. You have this eccentricity card. I feel like you need to embrace what makes you unique. Again, if you're like comparing yourself, like I said, too much to the competition, then you're saying, I am exactly like them, but you're not. I feel like you need to realize that you have a different approach. You have this speculation card here. I feel you need to get an answer here, Aquarius. Too much wondering, There's too much wondering like what the answer is. And I don't even feel this is like in any specific area of your life, but if you are wondering like what the answer to a question is, I feel like you need to ask or, get the details. You have this companionship card. Again, if you have love coming in, I really like this card. To me, this card says that you could be starting something with a person slowly, like you start out as friends or you start talking, and then you kind of go from there. But this is like a true companion. But not really a love reading, but still. You have this organization card. Yeah, I think we are in a good time of organizing things, like organizing our day. Having a daily routine could be very beneficial. But really interesting reading here, Aquarius. So thank you for being here and definitely enjoy your week.